Guadalupe River, which is snaking its way through this canyon. The way they have it all dammed up with the roads and everything, it almost has this lagoon effect.
The river was gorgeous, but it was not like allowed to be a river. I feel like if none of the dams were there, it would run bigger and better and be even more beautiful.
Yeah, there's no public access. It's all private for people with a lot of money. It's basically for the privileged that can access this.
How do we own water? How do all of these people, the water doesn't even stay there. It's not theirs, it's flowing through. Why can the kids in the neighborhood not fish there? Because you own the lawn next to the water? It reminded me of being in New York, on the New York side of Niagara Falls. Every bit of waterfront is a piece of property with a big fancy home, and somebody owns it, and you cannot enjoy the water. You get over to Canada, and everything is open. And you can swim wherever you want, and you can fish wherever you want, and people are swimming, and people are fishing. Oh wow, like people can enjoy the water when it's not all privately owned.
And then they have dam after dam after dam after dam in each town almost along the river, so that they have these low water levels. Yet this is the area that huge flooding happens.
I mean, I know flash floods, I know what they can do, but it's still really hard to imagine because this isn't like a narrow creek bed. This is wide open canyons, yet somehow there are times where the water gets up that high.
Ecosystems are very man-made.
But I saw it at least 10 different places where it was not a huge dam, just enough to hold the water back and just let whatever they felt like letting through through.
Just seeing different parts of the country, the privatization of everything is interesting. I love to play in the outdoors. The friends that I made, that I interviewed, had to drive 5 hours to get to the closest place to camp.
Really hoping we don't end up with a lot of flats. We're almost to Austin, 2-3 days out, and yesterday I bought a couple new tubes from those guys at the bike shop, and they burst yesterday, so I'm down to one extra tube.
A lot has happened the past couple days. I had 3 flat tires yesterday. I was amazingly patient. I was amazingly amazed with myself at my patience. 42 miles on semi-steep rollers is way easier after 6 weeks of cycling than it is after 0 weeks of cycling. I don't walk up hills anymore. I pedal up hills, standing up on my bike, and it's awesome.
There's pretty much a few campsites, a playground, and then hundreds of miles of ranch land in all directions. That is the state park.
I'm constantly learning more about myself. I realized that the book that I've been trying to read this whole time, the book is called When the Rivers Run Dry, and it's a summary of all of these huge examples worldwide of what is happening to our Earth because we are killing our rivers, either with chemical poisoning or dams, overuse of the water for irrigation purposes or for cities. That's the whole force behind this bike ride, is what we are doing to our water and how precious a resource it is, and the fact that we are all going to run out if we keep messing with it the way that we are.
Yesterday at the RV park, I met a Vietnam veteran who has severe PTSD that has had severe PTSD since he came back.
With 3 Purple Hearts, a Silver Cross, and some of the craziest stories I've ever heard in my whole life. He shared a lot to me, he opened up a lot to me, he broke down.
I don't think that all those boys and men coming back from Vietnam got the support that they needed or wanted, and he's been hiding out for 40 years, unwilling to talk to anybody.
It would have been cool to get his story on camera, but I understood at that time
that this type of interaction wouldn't be happening had I had the camera out. So to let him tell his story, just to me even, was a really beautiful thing.
I think a good way to see a state is to spend a month riding a bicycle across it. You get a pretty good taste for the place.
I think that I've learned more about myself in the last month and a half than I have in the last year and a half. It's a huge part of why I'm out here. I'll figure out who I am and what I want to give this world.
Behind the super cool EMS in Wimberley, Texas.
All those hills for the last 1,500 miles, we did them on our own, under our own power. But it's probably the most personally fulfilling thing I've ever done.
Yeah, so tomorrow we're gonna go to Austin and meet some cool people and not be cycling for a couple days, which I think actually we both need more than we realize we need it. I watched Turk Pipkin's documentary last night, One Piece at a Time. I cried a lot. I thought it was one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. And if we do actually get to meet this man, that is really freaking cool.
Years ago that I saw that film and go, this is someone who's doing what I believe in.
I think one of my favorite quotes in that movie last night was that there's nothing magical about change. You gotta just get up off your ass and do something. And that's exactly what this whole thing is.
It's a personal honor, responsibility, and a gift to just take care of each other. We've created nations and divisions and colors and all these things that are just illusions, just distinctions that we create.
So here we are on very small bicycle seats, raising money, making a difference for people who don't have a chance, really, to do anything but spend all day fetching water. And yeah, feels pretty good to be helping out. And this is the second time that I've noticed a huge tree just full of vultures, and I just like stop all of a sudden, and they're just chilling. There's a huge rotting deer carcass, but they're pretty amazing creatures.
Here I saw two cars run into each other in traffic. I'm gonna go make sure they're doing okay. And I also think Turk Pipkin literally might have driven by and waved at me. So just climbed up the hills northwest of Austin. There are some big hills to get up here. And there's Brittany trying to get up the last one, which is up to Jester Wild Street, and I have to say that it's one of the steepest pitches we've had on this whole trip.
Really steep.
You can do it.
That's really steep. Don't believe what the real cyclists tell you. This is a 72% grade.
Pulling up to our new friend Thomas's place, and as the lovely Miss Brittany just quoted,
It's a castle.
it's a castle.
Like a fantasy castle on the hill with a really, really cool man who I've never met.
So I'm an adopted Texan. Didn't grow up here, wasn't born here, but I got here as fast as I could. Came to San Antonio in '88 with the U.S. Air Force to do my residency at Wilford Hall. Mentored and steered by a couple of high school educators, and medicine seemed the way for me to go. As a medical student, they let me be involved in writing papers and leading medical journals, and I got to be around and be with and experience the best people, the greatest minds in the entire world.
A 26-star camp resort, also known as the home of the lovely Thomas.
I always consider myself thoroughly cultured when I have like 2 or 3 bottles of wine sitting in my kitchen.
I don't think we're any better or any worse than any other profession out there. There's people that are clearly in it for the money. I would like to hope and believe that the majority of the doctors out there really believe in doing the right thing and taking care of their patients. What can be more gratifying than saving someone's life and sitting with their family at in the patient at the end of the day? And it really is the reward. It's an incredibly emotional experience. It's tough because society's expectations far exceed our capacity, our abilities as physicians. I don't think we have a very realistic expectation for modern medicine right now, unfortunately. We're faced with a huge economic, societal, emotional, rational, ethical discussion as to where we're going to go with medicine and technology and what's right and what's wrong. Because I think we've lost sight of history, and as Winston Churchill said, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. I think this country is headed in that direction. We have become so technologically oriented that we cease to acknowledge each other as human beings. Sad commentary on personal worth. Because we deserve it. Because it's Sunday, because I worked hard for 3 days, because y'all have worked hard for 6 weeks. Religion has its differences, and it brings animosity, and it brings angst, and it brings cultural extremes. But food and wine bring commonality and joy to people, and it's about where you are, who you're with, what you're eating, and that's the great thing about wine. New friends.
Definitely.
Riding.
Beautiful.
Travels.
Life.
To do this for somebody else, for other people, for another culture, for another generation, and for water, another vanishing commodity on the face of the earth, and the earth is a vanishing commodity. And I sit here, relatively speaking, in the lap of luxury. Then I flip a faucet and I get fresh water, and I can even put it through a filter, and yet thousands are being affected by cholera. Fresh water and fresh food are in a crisis. Who are we to decide what God gave us? That this is a natural resource. It's not something that we can economize and put on Wall Street for shares. For the most part, in America, we live a very blessed life, although we have multiple tiers of existence in this country. We spend a lot of time worrying about the rest of the world, and we probably should do and could do a better job of taking care of our own. To ride across this country 3,000 plus miles, an enormous undertaking. Weather unpredictable. In this political climate, this culture, you're weird, you're crazy. What a great thing. In the bigger sense, it is not my best interest the best interest of the world, and it really is. Be involved, be passionate, don't be afraid. If you really believe in what you think, stand up and be counted. Cheers. I guess it is then.
We got to go to the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center and get kind of like a private tour.
That we lost everything. Oh, come on, with the war still gone, we can change.
The Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center, getting a tour from the lovely Michael. It's pretty awesome.
Shooting bullets in the dark just to call yourselves free. I don't believe in the powers that be, 'cause they could claim their gods, but they're stealing their offering.